Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. I'm your host, Ellen, and today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. Let's take a look at our Quiz Class awards. And here they are. Let us know how you rank in the comments at the end, along with the answer to the bonus question. So let's begin. Which 1950s children's TV host always reminded viewers to look for the magic words hidden in each episode? Captain Kangaroo, Howdy Doody, or Romper Room Teacher? Howdy Doody. What innovative food packaging invention debuted in 1959, revolutionizing supermarket shopping with the slogan, "The miracle wrap that keeps food fresher longer"? Tupperware, Saran wrap, or Reynolds wrap? Saran wrap. Which 1960s fashion designer popularized the paper dress, a disposable garment that sold for about $1.25? Scott Paper Company, Mary Quant, or Betsy Johnson? Scott Paper Company. What 1940s home appliance was advertised as the greatest development in cooking since the discovery of fire? Pressure cooker, microwave oven, or electric mixer? Microwave oven. Which 1967 social event known as the Human Bee Inn helped launch the Summer of Love in San Francisco? Monterey Pop Festival, Gathering of the Tribes, or First Earth Day? Gathering of the Tribes. What peculiar 1950s beauty trend involved women deliberately creating artificial beauty marks on their faces? Patches, rhinestones, or painted freckles? Patches. Which children's toy featured plastic worms that would appear to grow when a special liquid was applied? Grow Monsters, Creepy Crawlers, or Stretch Armstrong? Creepy Crawlers. What home decoration trend of the 60s involved hanging specific colorful posters illuminated by special lighting? Macrame wall hangings, blacklight posters, or Moroccan tapestries? Blacklight posters. Which 1965 kitchen innovation was marketed as polyethylene that remembers and featured a patented vacuum seal? Glad bags, Tupperware, or Saran wrap? Tupperware. What was the significance of the Daisy television advertisement? First political ad to use subliminal messaging, implied nuclear war if Goldwater was elected, or first campaign ad to feature a celebrity endorsement? Implied nuclear war if Goldwater was elected. Which 1940s invention allowed home cooks to bake in half the time and was advertised as the triumph of modern science? Bisquick, cake mixes, or refrigerated dough? Cake mixes. What was unique about Twiggy, the iconic 60s British model whose real name was Leslie Hornby? She was the first supermodel over 30, she refused to wear makeup in photo shoots, or she was only 16. She was only 16 when she became famous. Which 50s TV program pioneered the format of filming real families in their homes? Candid Camera, An American Family, or People Are Funny? People Are Funny. What unique feature distinguished the mood ring, a popular piece of jewelry in the 70s? It changed color based on body temperature, it glowed in the dark, or it contained a hidden compartment for perfume? It changed color based on body temperature. Which 1968 science fiction film featured an artificially intelligent computer named Hal that could read lips? Planet of the Apes, 2001: A Space Odyssey, or Barbarella? 2001: A Space Odyssey. What was the Whirlpool Miracle Kitchen? The first all-electric kitchen display, a kitchen that folded into a wall, or a kitchen that cleaned itself? The first all-electric kitchen display. Which musician popularized the wall of sound production technique in the 60s? Brian Wilson, Phil Spector, or George Martin? Phil Spector. What unusual fashion trend from the 70s involved wearing platform shoes with live goldfish swimming inside clear heels? Aquarium shoes, fishtail platforms, or living sandals? Aquarium shoes. Which home entertainment product of the 50s was marketed with the slogan, "Brings the magic of television to your home"? TV dinner trays, TV Guide magazine, or Zenith television? Zenith television. What was the Beatnik Bandit created by Ed Big Daddy Roth in 1960? A custom hot rod car, a popular toy, or a cartoon character? A custom hot rod car. Which 1968 advertising campaign featured the slogan, "You've come a long way, baby," to market cigarettes specifically to women? Eve, Virginia Slims, or Benson and Hedges? Virginia Slims. What was silly putty originally developed as during the 40s? A rubber substitute during wartime, a stress relief tool for executives, or an art medium for children? A rubber substitute during wartime. Which controversial 50s comic book genre led to the creation of the Comics Code Authority? Romance comics, horror comics, or Western comics? Horror comics. What was paranoia, a trend that emerged in the late 60s counterculture? Fear of getting haircuts due to military association, paranoia about hair dye chemicals, or obsession with elaborate hairstyles? Fear of getting haircuts due to military association. Which 1957 kitchen appliance was marketed as the Tapan electronic range and was sold for $1,295? Dishwasher, microwave oven, or electric can opener? The microwave oven. What was unusual about the 1960s Nehru jacket fashion trend in Western countries? It was made only of synthetic materials, it was marketed exclusively to women, or it was inspired by Indian prime ministers' clothing? It was inspired by Indian prime ministers' clothing. Which popular 70s household decorative item consisted of colorful wax floating in clear liquid? Lava lamp, snow globe, or infinity mirror? The lava lamp. What was Victory Red, a cosmetic product that gained popularity during the 40s? A hair dye, a nail polish, or a lipstick? A lipstick shade promoted as patriotic. Which 60s musical instrument was invented by Bob Moog and revolutionized popular music? Electric violin, synthesizer, or vocoder? Synthesizer. What cultural phenomena was known as the sack dress or chemise dress in the late 50s? A shapeless, loose-fitting garment, a dress made from burlap as a protest statement, or a formal gown with multiple petticoats? A shapeless, loose-fitting garment. Which 1970s technological innovation was first sold as the right price grocery marker? Price gun, barcode scanner, or electronic calculator? A barcode scanner. What was unique about the sea monkey's aquatic pets advertised in comic books from the 1950s onwards? They were actually brine shrimp, they could change color based on water temperature, or they were the first genetically modified pets. They were actually brine shrimp. Which popular 1960s hairstyle was created by Vidal Sassoon and characterized by its geometric angular cut? The bouffant, the five-point cut, or the beehive? The five-point cut. What was the daisy chain, a social phenomenon of the 60s? A style of making friendship bracelets, a circle of people passing marijuana joints, or a protest tactic where people linked arms? A protest tactic where people linked arms. Which home furnishing trend of the 70s involved filling clear plastic furniture with water? Aqua loungers, hydro chairs, or liquid ottomans? Aqua loungers. What was significant about the music color invented in the late 40s by artist Mary Ellen Butte? It was the first portable record player, it allowed color television broadcasting, or it created light displays responding to music. It created light displays responding to music. Which 1950s automotive styling feature was inspired by jet aircraft and became a symbol of American optimism? White wall tires, tail fins, or hood ornaments? Tail fins. What was brushed denim, a fashion innovation of the early 70s? Denim with metallic threads woven in, jeans with painted designs, or denim treated to create a soft, fuzzy texture? Denim treated to create a soft, fuzzy texture. Which 1968 film broke Hollywood taboos by showing a passionate interracial kiss between its stars? Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, Star Trek TV episode, or In the Heat of the Night? Star Trek, the TV episode. What was unique about TV stopper advertisements in the 50s? They used subliminal messaging, they increased volume automatically, or they featured live product demonstrations. They increased volume automatically. Which 1960s dance craze was named after a poultry dish and involved flapping arm movements? The funky chicken, the turkey trot, or the duck walk? The funky chicken. What was the significance of the pill that became available in the United States in 1960? First oral contraceptive, first antidepressant medication, or first vitamin supplement for women? First oral contraceptive. Which 1950s children's toy was originally called the Pluto platter before being renamed? Slinky, Frisbee, or the hula hoop? Frisbee. What was the hi-fi that became a status symbol in 1950s American homes? High-fidelity sound system, high-finesse television, or high-fashion interior design? high-fidelity sound system. Which iconic automobile discontinued in 1953 was nicknamed the Tin Lizzie? The Chevrolet Bel Air, the Ford Model T, or the Volkswagen Beetle? The Ford Model T. What was the kitchen debate of 1959? Controversy over labor-saving devices replacing homemaking, television cooking competition, or a political exchange between Nixon and Khrushchev? A political exchange between Nixon and Khrushchev. Which 1970s architectural trend involved building homes partially or completely underground? Brutalism, postmodernism, or earth-sheltered housing? Earth-sheltered housing. What was unique about the first commercially successful electric toothbrush introduced in 1960? It was cordless and battery operated, it plugged into a wall outlet, or it played music while brushing. It plugged into a wall outlet. Which 1960s innovation in eyewear allowed lenses to darken when exposed to sunlight? Polarized lenses, photochromatic lenses, or bifocal contact lenses? Photochromatic lenses. What was the IBM selective typewriter introduced in 1961? First typewriter with memory storage, first golf ball element typewriter, or the first typewriter with correctable ribbon? First golf ball element typewriter. Which 1950s youth subculture was characterized by greased back hair, leather jackets, and customized motorcycles? Beatniks, greasers, or teddy boys? Greasers. What was Melmac, a popular material found in many 50s American homes? A type of synthetic plastic dishware, an asbestos-based insulation, or a vinyl flooring material? A type of synthetic plastic dishware. Which 1967 film pioneered the use of underwater photography and influenced a generation of scuba enthusiasts? Thunderball, The Graduate, or The Silent World? The Silent World. What was the significance of the TV dinner introduced by Swanson in 1953? First frozen meal in a compartmentalized tray, first meal designed to be eaten while watching TV, or the first microwave-ready meal? First frozen meal in a compartmentalized tray. Which 1970s device allowed people to record television programs for later viewing? Betamax, Laserdisc, or the video cassette? Betamax. What was the tinfoil experiment, a popular 1960s demonstration in science classrooms? Demonstrating static electricity, building a radio antenna, or creating a simple battery using foil and vinegar? Creating a simple battery using foil and vinegar. Which 1950s automotive innovation was marketed as a safety feature but later recognized as a hazard? Power windows, dashboard padding, or wraparound windshield? Wraparound windshields. What was Quintessential, a 1960s fashion development? Mary Quant's cosmetics line, a style of collar on men's shirts, or a type of synthetic fabric? Mary Quant's cosmetics line. Which 1964 children's toy consisted of colorful plastic interlocking bricks and was advertised as It Grows? Lincoln Logs, Lego, or Tinker Toy? Tinker Toy. What was unique about the trimline telephone introduced by Bell Systems in 1965? It had the dial in the handset, it was the first cordless phone, or it could store phone numbers. It had the dial in the handset. Which 1970s hairstyle for men was characterized by hair that was cut short at the front and sides but long in the back? Shag cut, a mullet, or a pompadour? Mullet. What was the tease maid, a popular bedroom appliance in Britain during the 60s? A hairstyling tool, an alarm clock that made tea automatically, or a bedside radio? An alarm clock that made tea automatically. Which innovative fabric introduced in 1959 was marketed as the fiber that keeps its promise? Polyester, spandex, or acrylic? Spandex. What was the whip, a dance move popularized during the 50s? A slide step with arms extended, a quick snap of the head while twisting, or a motion where partners spun away and then back together? A motion where partners spun away and then back together. Which 1940s innovation changed baby feeding and was known as the safest infant feeding method ever developed? Electric bottle warmer, disposable formula bottles, or Pyrex nursing bottles? Pyrex nursing bottles. What was significant about the Magnavox Odyssey released in 1972? First home video game console, first portable television, or the first remote-controlled television? First home video game console. Which 1960s fashion accessory was created by Paolo Gucci and featured the double G logo? The hobo bag, the bamboo handle bag, or the shoulder strap purse? The bamboo handle bag. What was the burning question, a social phenomenon that gained attention in the 1960s? Arguments about marijuana legalization, debates over bra burning as feminist protest, or concerns about nuclear proliferation? Debates over bra burning. Which food preparation technique, popularized in the 1970s, involved wrapping ingredients in aluminum foil for cooking? And papillote, hobo cooking, or packet steaming? Hobo cooking. What was unique about the Space View watch introduced by Bulova in 1960? It had a transparent face showing the movement. It was the first digital watch, or it was worn by astronauts on early space missions. It had a transparent face showing the movement. Which 1950s advertising campaign coined the phrase "Winston tastes good like a cigarette should"? Controversially using "like" instead of "as." Lucky Strike, Winston, or Marlboro? Winston. What was the new look, Christian Dior's revolutionary fashion collection from 1947? A style featuring nipped waists and full skirts, the first ready-to-wear designer collection, or menswear-inspired suits for women? A style featuring nipped waists and full skirts. Which 1960s technological innovation was advertised as a robot in every home? Dishwasher, automatic vacuum cleaner, or Ronco automatic can opener? Ronco automatic can opener. What was the Davy Crockett craze that swept America in 1955? Coonskin cap fashion trend sparked by a TV show, dance move resembling frontier fighting, or survival skills movement among Boy Scouts? coonskin cap fashion trend sparked by a TV show? Which cosmetic product introduced in 1952 was the first aerosol hairspray? Aquanet, Breck, or Miss Clairol? Aquanet. What was Action Office designed by Robert Probst in 1968? The first modular office cubicle system, an executive desk with built-in phone, or a portable typewriter stand? The first modular office cubicle system. Which kitchen tool invented in 1963 was originally called the totem? Electric can opener, Big Gulp cup, or the 7-Eleven Slurpee machine? (7-Eleven Slurpee machine). What was unique about the Raider Range, the first commercial microwave oven from 1947? It weighed over 750 pounds. It had to be water-cooled, or it required special electrical installation. It weighed over 750 pounds. Which 1950s musical innovation was branded as high-fidelity living presence? 3D sound recording technique, car radio with tone control, or wireless speaker system? 3D sound recording technique. What was the jet set, a term coined in the 1950s? Wealthy people who traveled internationally by airplane, young pilots in the Air Force, or engineers who designed aircraft? Wealthy people who traveled internationally by airplane. Which 1960s fashion accessory was initially designed for workers but became popular with motorcyclists and later the counterculture? Bandanas, engineer boots, or chambray shirts? Chambray shirts. What was the Great Blackout, a significant event in November 1965? Power failure affecting the northeastern United States, television networks refusing to air controversial content, or radio stations protest against payola? A power failure. Which 1970s culinary trend involved elaborate presentations of simple foods? Continental cuisine, nouvelle cuisine, or fusion cooking? Nouvelle cuisine. What was the significance of the pompadour, a hairstyle that gained popularity in the 50s? Elvis Presley made it famous among men. It was the first style to use hairspray extensively, or it was adopted from traditional Japanese geisha styling. Elvis Presley made it famous among men. Which 1968 innovation changed office work and was advertised as the untypewriter? IBM Selectric typewriter, liquid paper correction fluid, or 3M Post-it notes? Liquid paper correction fluid. What was the Great Society launched in 1964 or 1965? Lyndon B. Johnson's domestic program, a television series about utopian living, or an advertising campaign for suburban developments? Lyndon B. Johnson's domestic program. Which children's toy introduced in 1960 was originally called the Little Hustler? Easy Bake Oven, Tonka Dump Truck, or the Fisher-Price Chatter Telephone? Tonka Dump Truck. What was the Chelsea look, a 1960s fashion phenomenon? Military-inspired women's suits, formal wear with casual accessories, or a style centered around London's King Road? Style centered around London's King's Road. Which 1950s kitchen innovation was advertised as cooking with a cool flame? Electric skillet, gas range with safety features, or the glass top stove? Glass top stove. What was RIT dye, which experienced a resurgence in popularity during the late 60s? Fabric dye used for tie-dyeing, hair coloring for the punk movement, or paint for decorating vinyl records? Fabric dye used for tie-dyeing. Which technological innovation introduced to consumers in 1954 was marketed as the tube with a memory? Videotape recorder, video camera, or the television picture tube? Television picture tube. What was the California look, a design aesthetic that emerged in the 70s? Casual interior design with natural materials, colorful automotive paint jobs, or landscape design? Casual interior design with natural materials. Which kitchen appliance introduced in 1971 was designed to cook an entire meal simultaneously in different compartments? Slow cooker, crock pot, or an electric skillet? Crock pot. What was the hustle which gained popularity in 1975? A line dance, a street con game, or a basketball move popularized by the NBA? A line dance performed to disco music. Which children's entertainment show premiering in 1952 was the first to use the peanut gallery? The Mickey Mouse Club, Howdy Doody, or Captain Kangaroo? Howdy Doody. What was the atomic hairdo, a popular hairdo in the early 50s and 60s? Bouffant style, a short pixie cut, or long hair with artificially white streaks? A bouffant style with extreme height and volume. Which technological innovation of 1975 allowed people to record television programs on video cassettes? Sony Betamax, RCA Selectavision, or Philips Laserdisc? Sony Betamax. What was the twist beside being a dance craze of the early 60s? A hairstyle, a mixed drink with lemon and vodka, or a type of men's tie knot? A mixed drink with lemon and vodka. Which 1947 architectural innovation changed suburban living and was nicknamed the People's House? Lustron prefabricated home, split-level ranch style, or A-frame vacation home? The Lustron prefabricated home. What was unique about the laugh track? It used recordings from mental patients for authenticity. It was originally created for radio shows, or it required a special sound engineer called a laugh manager. It was originally created for radio shows. What was the name of the first artificial satellite launched in 1957, sparking the space race? That is our bonus question. Let us know the answer in the comments, and of course how well you did with our quiz class Einstein rewards. Thanks for playing, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.